So let me tell you guys the kind of documents I submitted, or we submitted, for our house, which we got the house, obviously, duh. Okay, so the first thing that we submitted was a reference letter from someone who lives in Ireland, someone that can stand in for you as a reference or as a guarantor, someone that lives in Ireland, to be very specific. The second thing we submitted was proof of financial capability. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It is me again. For those of you that are new here, my name is Gabby, and for those of you that are returning subscribers or you're just passing by, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is particularly, and I'm saying that because it's particularly for students who are coming to Ireland. So not just students, international students, to be very precise. So today I'm going to be giving you guys a few tips on stuff that I learned while I was trying to settle into Ireland. So if you feel like this video is going to be helpful for you, don't forget to keep watching. Also, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell so that when I post a video, you get a notification, guys. Okay guys, let's get into this discussion. So I am going to be breaking this down into 5 different sections. So let me tell you guys the sections. So the first one is SIM card / internet. The second one is accommodation. The third one is immigration. The fourth one is bank. And then the fifth one is work. Now let's get right into this discussion. So I'm going to be starting off with SIM card / internet. So if you're someone that prefers higher data bundles over international calls, that's like calling Nigeria, calling India, calling South Africa. So if you're someone that prefers higher data bundles over phone calls, over international calls, because the truth is, honestly, you can make WhatsApp calls, right? So 3Mobile is the one for you, because with €20 a month, you get unlimited data. Like, I'm not even lying to you. You get unlimited data with €20 a month. But if you're someone that prefers international calls to countries like Nigeria, India, South Africa, depending on the country you're coming from, right, Leica Mobile is for you. Okay, so for Leica Mobile, with €15, you get 25 gigabytes of data, but you cannot call with that €15 just in case, because they take it for data. But however, if you recharge €20 on your phone, you still have an extra €5 that you can use to make international calls. So I make calls to Nigeria a lot, and I pay 12 cents per minute. Honestly, that's not bad. I'm telling you, it is not bad at all. But again, if you are someone that prefers data bundles over calls, 3Mobile is for you. If you're someone that prefers calls over internet, right, then Leica Mobile is for you. I really don't know where you can get 3Mobile. I know 3Mobile have stores everywhere, but for Leica Mobile, you can walk into any store, even Tesco, or you can walk into any Asian store or African store and pick up a Leica SIM card for free. Absolutely free. There is no extra charge. You just go into the store, pick up your SIM card, and you walk out. Guys, so the next thing is accommodation. So I'm just sharing with you guys some things that I learned along the line. Okay, so for example, or let's jump right into it anyways. So for you to get a house, that's if you're looking for a whole house. Let's say you're 3 friends who came all the way from Nigeria, India, South Africa, or Kenya, or whatever country you're coming from, and 3 of you have decided that you guys want to stay together. So you can get a house together, like you can get a house together, or all of you can split up individually. So let me tell you guys the kind of documents I submitted, or we submitted, for our house, which we got the house, obviously, duh. Okay, so the first thing that we submitted was a reference letter from someone who lives in Ireland, someone that can stand in for you as a reference or as a guarantor, someone that lives in Ireland, to be very specific. The second thing we submitted was proof of financial capability. That's bank statement, the same one used for your visa. You can use it for the house. The third thing we submitted was our passport documents. Another thing we submitted was we paid security deposit because most landlords require you, or most houses honestly require you to pay a security deposit. So for example, if your house costs 500 euro, so that means that you have to pay an extra 500 euro. You get that 500 euro back when you're leaving the house if you do not destroy any of the property, and if the landlord is fine with like the condition that you left the house, right? Okay, so another thing is that you need reference letters, or a reference letter, either from your previous employer or your current employer. You could use the same one that used to apply for visa, honestly, because that's what I do, right? Or rather, that's what I did, right? And another thing to be watchful for is that some houses are bill inclusive, and then some houses are not bill inclusive. So if you don't see that stated there, you might want to ask the agent or the landlord, okay, so is this house bill inclusive or is not, or is the price bill inclusive or is not, so that you don't get shot in the forehead, right? So just a disclaimer, this is not limited to it's not limited to one thing, honestly. If you're renting a house, this would probably work for you best. But if you're looking for a share house, like a shared apartment, I don't think they ask you for that much documents. I mean, some people just want to see that you're able to pay for the rent, and I mean, it really differs on what you want to do and the kind of house that you want, or if you want to share or if you want a whole house. So let's get into the next thing that I want to talk about. Okay guys, so the third thing I'm going to be talking about is immigration. Let me give you guys a little disclaimer. So my eyes might be going down a lot. That's just because there's a lot to say and I don't want to miss the points. So I have like my laptop in front of me so that I don't miss the points. Okay, so forgive me guys. Okay, so for immigration, you will need to have a valid house address or a valid house document which shows that you are currently living in Ireland and you have paid your rent, right? The next thing you will need is a letter of acknowledgement from your school. I know that University of Limerick offers, or University of Limerick gives this letter to international students when they want to go for their visa, but I don't know about other schools. So one thing you need to do if your school does not provide you that letter is to ask your international education division that you need a letter of acknowledgement for your school, for your visa, or for your immigration appointment. I'm sure they should be able to provide that for you because it doesn't take anything. The third thing you will need is your passport documents. Do not forget your passport documents at home, because I think they collect your passport document and you have to come back and collect your passport documents, something related to that. The fourth thing is you will need a bank card that has about 300 euro in it, because that's what the immigration fee costs. Well, we paid 300 euro. I do not know if the prices have changed, but be sure to check online to know if the price has changed or it's still the same 300 euro, so that you don't go there with 300 euro and then they tell you that's 350 euro. So the fifth thing that you will need is your medical insurance. You guys have done medical insurance before coming over, so the same medical insurance you showed for the immigration officer at the airport is the same medical insurance that you're still going to show for the immigration officer in the city. So be sure to take your medical insurance with you. So the sixth thing is you get your resident permit after about 3 weeks, right? It might differ because of the current pandemic, and I don't know how long it's going to take for you to get it now, but when I did mine, it took about 3 weeks. I know they told me to go and come back after I think 14 days or 21 days. I really can't remember, and then come back for it. So something else you really want to do is to stay till the end and ask questions to be sure that you have done everything correctly and to be sure you have done everything proper, because honestly it's really difficult for you to go and then have to start coming back again because of the pandemic again. So things are a little bit different thanks to coronavirus. So the last thing I want to say regarding immigration is, if you miss your appointment, your immigration appointment that is, be sure to go online and rebook your immigration appointment. I don't know if you can go to the office, but be sure to go and rebook your immigration appointment before your temporary visa expires. Oh, and another thing about the 300 euro, cash is not accepted. So that's why I stated that you have to go with a bank card. So if you don't have a bank card, look for someone else that you know that lives in Ireland that has a bank card. deposit 300 euro or 350 euro into the account, depending on how much you're paying, and then just go with their card. Well, if they trust you enough to give you their card, or they can go with you. I know someone went with someone last year, but I don't know if you have to go with the person that owns the card, but I really think that you have to go with the person that has the card, so that they know that the card belongs to someone else. Okay guys, so the fourth thing I want to talk about is bank. So when I say bank, I mean opening a bank account, obviously. So the first thing you want to know is that opening a bank account takes about 3 to 7 business working days, except bank holidays. And when you're going to open a bank account, you will need to provide a valid address. You will need to provide your passport documents, and you would also need to provide a letter from your school stating, I don't know what the letter states, honestly, I've forgotten what my own letter stated, but you will need a letter from your school. UL provides the letter. I don't know if other schools provide it, but be sure to ask your International Education Division again. So for the valid address, it can be your address, it can be your best friend's address, it can be your uncle's address, but one thing you have to make sure is that if you're not using your address and you're using someone else's address, make sure that the person is easily accessible, because the bank will send you mails which you will be needing to use for your account, and the only way you can get that is by going to the person or by the person coming to you. So make sure you're using someone who is easily accessible. Another thing is your ATM card. You don't get it immediately. You get your ATM card, I think it takes 7 to 14 days depending on your bank. Honestly, I know that AIB took about 14 days for me to get my ATM card. And another thing is, you do not go to the bank to pick up your ATM card. The bank sends your ATM card to you through a secured postal service. So again, that's why I mentioned that if you're using someone else's address, you will need the address to be accessible so that you can easily get your card, your PIN, and every other thing that you need for your account to start up. And lastly, there are no charges for a student account if you're using Allied Irish Bank, which is AIB. I don't know about other banks, and I don't know if they charge students on student accounts, but I'm currently using AIB and we don't get charged as students. So I hope you choose a bank that doesn't charge you. Okay guys, so the fifth thing I'm going to be talking about is work. So when you're looking for a job, first of all, the first thing you need to do is you need to tailor your CV to that job market. So let's say you want to work at somewhere like McDonald's, for example. That's a food and beverage assistant role, right? If you want to serve drinks and serve food, that's a food and beverage assistant role. So what you need to do is tailor your CV to a food and beverage assistant kind of CV, because honestly, I've explained this thing before in one of my videos when I talked about how to get jobs in Ireland. I'm going to link that up here so that you guys can watch it again and you can actually understand what I mean by tailoring your CV to that job market. Another thing is, you have to be ready to get out of your comfort zone, move out of your comfort zone again, and go and give your CVs in these stores, because I mentioned it again in my video that I'm going to link, that sometimes people tend to look at the CVs that you submit hard copy before they look at the ones that you've submitted online, and which is true in most cases. Don't argue with me, I'm HR, just in case. I felt like bragging a bit, you guys. Okay, so the third thing you need to know is, when you start a job now, for you to get your coins, you need to get a PPS number. And for you to get a PPS number, you must have been employed, right? So when you go for your PPS appointment, your employer gives you a letter of employment and you take that with you to your PPS, and then you register for your PPS. Or you can use a driver's license form, or you can apply using a driver's license to get your PPS number, so that when you eventually get a job, it comes easy for you. And another thing is, you would need your GNIB card, which is your resident permit, which you get after you've paid your 300 and immigration tells you to come back 3 weeks later to pick up your card. So, and another thing is, when you finish your PPS registration, so you do not go to the PPS office to pick up your card. The PPS office sends your card to you. So make sure that whatever address you are putting down anywhere, it's an address that is either yours or an address that you can easily access. Another thing I want to talk about the address is that so if you're not using your address and you're using someone else's address, be sure to check out that information with the information that you have submitted to the school, because the letter that the school provides you might have a different address and you might have a different address. It won't really tally, it won't work. So you want both your addresses to be the same, so be sure to check your addresses. I know that for UL you can change your address through the student portal. I don't know about every other school, but be sure to check that your address is your address tallies or your address is the same thing, right guys? I hope I have been able to share very helpful tips with you guys. But don't forget, if you have any questions, if you feel like you don't want to drop it in the comment section, even if the comment section is open, do send me an email at brushesbygabby at gmail.com. My email is down, or my email is on my profile. Do send me an email and I'm happy to reply all your questions. Or you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and send me a message. I will still answer you. So guys, I hope you found this video very helpful. If you did, why are you still waiting? Why haven't you liked this video since you like the content I'm giving you? Like the video now, because I'm watching you if you don't like it. Also, subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell so that when I post a video you get a notification. And I'll also be giving you tips, so how can you not turn on your notification bell? Honestly, turn it on. Stop wasting time. Turn on your notification bell. Okay guys, I'm going to see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for the love. Mwah.